All right, hello everybody. My name is Will Campbell. I'm running for the Texas House of Representatives for District 109, which is the south quarter of Dallas County. So there's a gentleman here with the Twitter handle SWTMascot that's having a lot of questions and a lot of challenges. All of them valid. All of them very much valid concerns, and I'm glad that he's bringing them up, or she's bringing them up, whoever it is. But I want to cover some of those things because these are going to be common objections. I've got to be able to answer these questions and communicate them effectively with anybody who wants to challenge what I'm proposing here. Because it's going to come to issue when we get to actually having the session and the next gathering of the House of Representatives to be able to make these decisions. So I want to review some of these challenges that this person has brought up and use my article because it seems like this person hasn't quite read all the way through my article yet. So I'm going to reference my article and how it can address these particular questions. So without any further ado, now, starting out, hey, there's no hatred or anger or frustration going on here, guys. We're trying to reach a conclusion or a solution, perhaps, however you might want to say it, to the problem of taxes here in the state of Texas. And implementing the property tax, it's a tax on wealth. It's a tax on, oh, you live somewhere, guess what? You owe me money. You shouldn't have to keep paying the state money just because you live there and you've been successful and have done well. Whether you're a family just starting out, because they too also have to pay property taxes. If you're renting, hey, guess what? You pay property taxes too. That's a part of your rent, right? So let me just kind of start hitting some of these items one by one. So first off, it certainly does. So this is in relation to saying that this is going to increase taxes on metropolitan seniors with a homestead, rural seniors, homestead, and disabled veterans. So I'm a disabled veteran. I pay property taxes. All right. To suggest that this move of switching to a sales tax flat on all transactions would be an increase on these individuals is just false. When it shows that with a homestead pay no ISD taxes. Okay, that's partially true. There's been some changes and adjustments in that law. They're still paying property taxes. School taxes are only a small portion of property taxes. The rest is state taxes, special district taxes, why they're getting anything from us, I don't know, and county taxes are all still on property taxes. This proposal removes all of that for them. So no, this is a tax savings for everybody. Doesn't matter. On average, right, per household, as I state in my article, it's between $1,800 and $2,000 a year in savings. That's with ending the property tax and implementing the new sales tax. All right. So that is covered in my article up here. I begin talking about it right here, and then I show what the net savings difference is down here. So this is substantiated. All of my sources are at the end of this article. Everything I'm saying is 100% shown by the math. There's even more math where I come down here at the bottom where I break out every single sales tax that we have currently and how changing it to 8.25% would directly affect things, right? So that's been addressed. Now, I'm using Glenn Hager's own work as well. That's what's currently cited in here about what the property taxes are, etc. So your proposal raises taxes for Texans. Remind me again where it is in the state of Texas that seniors, disabled, and disabled veterans and their surviving spouses have their taxes frozen at $0 or significantly less than other Texans. The only place that occurs is property taxes. They pay the full sales tax rate just like the rest of us. So you claiming $2,000 savings is unsubstantiated. As I just said, it is substantiated. Go do the math yourself. Go check the math. Check everything I do. I'm using the same reports this person is citing, evidently. The $82 billion is actually 86. And I think the estimated total collection of property taxes this year for fiscal year, or I should say for fiscal year 2025, may have been actually like $92 billion, right? So, some of the facts just from this previous period are changing. Now in 2024, yeah, it was at 82 billion. So no, that's just not the case. So your proposal increases government control. As stated previously, the only entity that collects sales tax is the state of Texas. Now, let's see. No, that is not correct. Now, I shouldn't say it's not correct. It's conflating two things. Cities, counties, and special districts, in addition to schools, right, all get property taxes, right? Cities also collect sales taxes. So do counties. The entity that collects those sales taxes, that me as a business owner, whenever I had to, when I had that going on, I had to pay sales taxes. I paid to the comptroller, and that's at the Texas state level. And then monthly, that money gets disseminated to any of the areas that have that tax, right? So it's known what city and locality you're in under your tax license. So whenever you go to do the payment or transfer of those sales taxes to the state, they know where it gets apportioned to, and it gets apportioned to the city in which you do your sales. So all the infrastructure and everything there is currently in place. It's already common practice. It's already been done, and it will continue under what my proposed plan is. So there wouldn't be any change in just kind of the overall infrastructure of how it's done. It's just a matter of what the difference is in the allocation and apportionment, and I'll cover that here in a few minutes. Right? It's not increasing government control. What this person is suggesting here, right? So let's see how we say Burke, Texas. Residents be able to control their own tax revenue if they have to go ask one of the 150 state reps or 31 state senators for new city infrastructure, etc. They wouldn't have to. That's kind of what I'm not understanding. They get their sales tax money. It's up for them to do what it is they want to do with it. There's no change in the local. If anything, this is an increase in the power of individual Texans over both their local school district and their local cities. Because now this money is being collected not out of property taxes, which you have no control over, right? When it comes to sales taxes, you absolutely have control over that. You could actually boycott your own city if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but and choose to go shop in another city somewhere else and take revenue from your city government. Right? So if anything, this is giving more power to Texans. This is not centralizing power at the state level simply because the Texas state is collecting the sales taxes. They already are doing. They've been doing it this whole time. Right? So there's no centralizing of power at the state. So for millions of new city infrastructure, the legislature refused to fund ISDs until the 2025 legislative session, etc. So this goes on from that. Increase the price of homes. You don't have any commercial real estate experience, I could tell. You eliminate the biggest expense for any property and the private equity with all the capital come in and snatch it up at higher prices because you just made their property more profitable. So this is the whole question about private equity, major local real estate investors, capital-wise, term-wise, etc., for their first-time home. So yeah, there's nothing here to substantiate the claim that's being made. The markets would remain the same. As far as any changes between property values or anything else, ending property taxes isn't going to change your property's value. So it's not going to affect that. To think that it will, I mean, yeah, will property values increase? They already are because of people wanting to move to Texas. Right? Nature of the beast. The only way that we're going to be able to drive down the price of homes in Texas is to increase the supply of homes. And this is what I was thinking of. So there's currently an incentive for cities to want to build developments that are not targeted towards lower income. There's a lot of developments popping up here in District 109. And many of those developments are being brought in at a very high dollar value of the homes. Actually, our neighbor over in Mansfield has tons and tons of homes going in, but they're like $500,000 and up. That's obscene. Well, what's the value? What's the incentive? What's the point of the city, the municipality, encouraging developers to build homes like that? Well, the value of the home, increased property tax revenues. They could build that big old, football field or football stadium, whatever it is they want to do, right? That's the problem. Get rid of property taxes as a city's sole source of doing that. And guess what? There's no longer an incentive to take up all the available residential zoned areas with these excessively expensive homes. Now, what's going to drive things is actually building single family homes that are affordable homes. And so at the state level, again, like I said, we're not going to have the government come in and start building units and selling units and doing that, right? This guy keeps accusing me of being socialist in my policy thinking. No, in order to address housing, what many socialists have proposed, and kind of like that Mamdani guy on the East Coast and some of the other ones, is the state coming in and building units and then selling that or renting those out. No, that is not what I propose at all. But the only way you're going to bring down prices is to increase the supply of houses. In my article I provide a breakdown of how this works. I even take it from the total sales tax revenue, or not sales tax, but total revenues of the state from actual tax sources, but also our other revenue streams that come in from different avenues. And that's all broken down in the article where you can read it. It is not necessary at all to go to a 22 to 28% sales tax. So that is not what I proposed at all. Again, I encourage you to read my article to see that. I'm not recommending that at all. It's a flat 8.25% sales tax rate, and I break down what the actual impact of that is. So property taxes do not give any more or less power than sales taxes. The difference with property taxes in Texas is that every single tax rate in Texas is set by your locally elected neighbors, not someone living 300 miles away. And those locally elected neighbors don't want the government to have any more power than possible in Texas. You have that, right? You're looking like an uninformed blowhard. Well, okay, that's the problem. So I'm not calling you a blowhard. I'm not calling you any names or anything. I've shown you, and if you go through this article, you can see what the difference is, right? This is a net savings for people because everybody's paying property taxes, right? Whether you're renting or you actually own the property, you're paying property taxes. 17 to 20% of what people pay in rent. That includes the 12% of folks that are considered in the low income to poverty range here in District 109. They're paying property taxes too in their rent. 17 to 20% of their rent is that. So that's my response to what all these particular items were done by this SWTMascot person. I mean, in all likelihood, this is just going to continue to go down the same rabbit hole. I've addressed all the concerns in here. All of these were already addressed in the article. So please review them, read this person's concerns, consider that for yourself. And I hope that we're able to arrive at a point where we understand that we can end property taxes. It can save all Texans across the board, a couple of hundreds to a couple of thousand, depending upon what your income is, obviously, a year. And being able to just carry that forward going into the future. So this was just kind of ad hoc, saw this on here, wanted to spend a minute trying to cover some of these topics. So if you have any questions, you can reach out on my website. You can go to communication at willcampbellfortexas.com. Send me an email if you have any other questions, or go to my website and you can see more there. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your patience with me as I cover each of these particular topics. And hey, let's keep Texas strong. Let's move to end property taxes. Let's save everybody money every year and create a better means of generating revenue to cover the responsibilities, the proper constitutional responsibilities at the state level and the local level for all of our governments and for our shared continued peace and prosperity in the state of Texas. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.